The thyroid gland is located at the base of the neck in front of the trachea. It produces thyroxine and calcitonin. Thyroxine targets body cells and increases rate of metabolism, the rate at which the body burns food to make energy. Hypersecretion of it, or too much, is called hyperthyroidism. The person has a high metabolic rate. They can't sit still, they're always warm, and they tend to be thin. Hyposecretion is called hypothyroidism, results in low metabolic rate, less energy, intolerance of cold, dry skin, and weight gain. Thyroxine disorders. Graves' disease is when the body's immune system attacks the thyroid. Antibodies attach to TSH receptors on thyroid cells, causing the thyroid gland to produce too much thyroxine. Goiter is a swelling in the neck resulting from an enlarged thyroid gland. Worldwide, over 90% of goiter cases are caused by iodine deficiency. Iodine has been added to salt since 1924 to prevent goiter. The body uses iodine to make thyroxine. Iodine is naturally found in fish and has been added to salt. Goiter is an enlargement of the thyroid gland due to no thyroxine being produced. The negative feedback system is not working properly. How does this work? The hypothalamus produces more TRH. This causes the pituitary to release TSH, which stimulates the thyroid gland. Since there is a lack of iodine, the thyroid gland cannot make thyroxine and instead grows new cells in an attempt to produce thyroxine. Let's look at the feedback loop for thyroxine. The stimulus is that the metabolic rate decreases, or it could be that the person is more active and requires more energy. So more energy is needed. The hypothalamus releases TRH, which goes to the pituitary gland, which releases TSH. That goes to the thyroid gland to produce thyroxine. Thyroxine causes the metabolism to increase, so more energy produced. And once there's enough energy, it turns down the production of TRH and TSH in this negative feedback loop. Thyroid and parathyroid glands work together to control calcium levels. The thyroid gland releases calcitonin, which lowers calcium levels in the blood. We can remember this because calcitonin rhymes with calci-bone-in, which is where it puts the calcium into the bones. Parathyroid hormone raises calcium levels in blood, so it takes it out of the bones to put it into the blood. These two hormones are antagonistic, meaning they have opposite effects. Calcitonin from the thyroid gland targets the bones, kidneys, and small intestine. It decreases blood calcium by depositing calcium in bones, and extra calcium is excreted in urine. The parathyroid hormone from the parathyroid gland targets the bones, kidneys, and small intestine. It increases blood calcium by removing calcium from bones. Lactation or breastfeeding stimulates the release of PTH if the mom is not getting enough calcium in her diet. So let's take a look at how this works. If there's normal blood concentration, there's no need for release of either calcitonin or parathyroid hormone. If calcium concentration is too high, let's say the person just had a meal with lots of calcium, then the thyroid gland releases calcitonin. Calcium is deposited in the bones, it's excreted by the kidneys in urine, and calcium absorption is reduced in the intestines until normal blood calcium concentration is reached. If calcium concentration is too low, so the person has not had calcium in their diet for a while, then the parathyroid releases PTH, parathyroid hormone. This causes calcium to be released from bones, so it breaks down the bones to release the calcium. It's conserved in the kidneys, so brought back into the blood, and it's absorbed by the intestines until it reaches homeostasis. Let's look at the feedback loop for calcitonin. So if there's high blood calcium, like right after a meal, then the thyroid produces calcitonin, which goes to the bones, kidneys, and small intestine. The calcium levels decrease in blood. And when they're down, then the thyroid gland produces less calcitonin. Feedback loop for parathyroid hormone starts with low blood calcium. It stimulates the parathyroid gland to produce parathyroid hormone, which goes to the bones, kidneys, and small intestine to cause calcium levels to increase in blood, which then turns down the production of PTH.